Hello, good afternoon. My name is Tamara Hall, and I am the president and founder of TEYA. We are live streaming this onto our TEYA YouTube page. So thank you for everyone who wants to learn more about Black youth experience in education systems. We will be beginning with the just straight to it, the video recording that Kiyoshi, our videographer and editor, will be sharing screen to show everyone today. So just, I hope you learn a lot. I hope you walk away with some good questions about what we might need to be doing, what questions we might need to be asking our Black youth, our Black parents, our Black educators, and also hopefully you're walking away with a few ideas of things that we could do in schools to support and ensure that our Black youth are thriving in schools. So thank you so much for joining, and I hope you enjoy the interview. Well, while we're waiting for Kiyoshi to get that working, I wanted to thank San Jose State for the mini grant that we received to support the creation of this video, as well as to provide stipends for our Black youth who provided answers to the very tough questions regarding their educational experience as a Black student. So thank you, San Jose State. Thank you, Jamal Williams. Thank you to the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Office at San Jose State. And I hope that this is the first of many interview panels that TEYA will be leading in partnership with San Jose State.
Hey, y'all, sorry about that. Video man here. Of course, it decides to crash right then and there. So we are about to be up and running really quickly. You just got to give me one more minute. So, Tamara, please just say a little bit about like what we're asking them.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Kiyoshi, for the update. So the students themselves were asked questions regarding how they think their experience as a Black student is going in terms of academic success, whether or not they have supports in place or trusted adults or teachers who can help them. We asked questions regarding mental health, if they have a wellness center, is there a way for them to voice their needs? And we also talked about discipline and what their ideas were if they were principal. So you'll hear a lot about that. Thank you, Kiyoshi.
Okay. I'm Nona. I go to Notre Dame High School downtown, and I guess from this conversation, I just like to learn about other people's experiences. Yeah.
I'm Nona's mom. Thank you.
My name is Jehan Washington. I am from Dartmouth Middle School. I'm an Eagle, and I just want to meet everybody.
Hi, I'm Mason Paul. Hi, I'm Mason. I'm from Little Oakland. My school is Little Oakland Middle School.
And what are you hoping to get out of this conversation?
I'm really tired.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm Tyler. I go to Peterson High School, and I have a conversation with everyone's opinion and how they actually feel about it.
Wonderful, thank you. So you all got the questions ahead of time. And in asking all these questions, our hope is that you will have a platform to share what your educational experience has been like in school, particularly here in Santa Clara County. And so if anything comes up that maybe you're not comfortable sharing, you don't have to, but please share what you would like to share, what you would like other people to know. And if you don't have an answer to a question, it's okay, you can answer the next one. So I'll ask the question, and whoever has an answer, you can just raise your hand, okay? So first question, do you feel safe at your school? What does safety look like to you? Go ahead, Mason.
Safety look like to me is like, when I see all the campus security, I can feel safe at my school.
Okay. Anyone else?
At middle school, we have like a lot of fire cages, so we can go back here because we were at school and we have pretty much everything.
Okay.
And at Thurman Middle School, we have a lot of guards, fire cages, and that feels like pretty much good community, which is one thing to
Okay. Anyone else want to answer that question? Do you feel safe, and what does safety look like?
I think I feel pretty safe. I think an important part of safety is also like respecting students' privacy. So like if students share something with like a teacher or like their counselor or something like that, then it stays private and doesn't necessarily have to go to like other administration or their parents. But obviously like they are like mandated recorders if someone's gonna like harm themselves or someone else. But other than that, I think like that's important as well.
Next question. What has helped you feel successful academically in your school? Go ahead.
For me, I think what it is just having a lot of support from different teachers, and they help me with tests. If my grades are falling, they come to me and try to figure out a solution with me to just better myself. Since it is my last year, and I'm striving to graduate with higher than a 3.5. So I think that for me, it's just like all the support I have.
Go ahead, Mason.
I get support from my teachers. They like sometimes show me how to do the thing and where to do it. And that's what I love.
Awesome. Go ahead, Dana.
All my teachers at my school help me out, like my counselors, everyone. They help me out with my grades.
Anyone else?
What was the question?
I repeat. What has helped you feel successful academically?
For me, I would say like my sister used to go to my school, so that was like helpful for like she could like give me advice on like teachers and stuff. And then other than that, I had a really good counselor last year who I can just go talk to all the time about like academic stuff and like whatever else I wanted to talk about. So it was really good.
Awesome. Okay, next question. What does mental health support look like at your school? Does your school have a trusted adult that you can speak to? Does your school have a wellness center? You can go, and then Tyler, and then Dale.
My school has a counselor that you can talk to. And she can like keep it secret if you want to.
Great.
I was gonna say, my school does have a wellness center, but I know that a lot of youth, like that looks like me, are constantly
trusted adult you can speak to. So raise your hand if you think there's a trusted adult at your school that you can speak to. Okay, that's great. Awesome. Next question. What do consequences look like at your school? How do you feel about it? What would you change, or what do you think is working? Yeah? Oh, okay. Mason.
If you like get in like big trouble, you like go to like the person that make like, I don't really know who he is, but like on his big speech he said, I'm the school enforcer.
And how did that make you feel?
And everybody heard that they just said boom.
Yeah, that's interesting. So, what would you change about that?
I would like, instead of saying enforcer, I would like say the person that you would talk to if you like did something wrong.
Okay. So change the wording so it feels like a little bit easier to talk to.
Yeah.
Anyone else? What do consequences look like at your school? How do you feel about it? What would you change? What do you think is working? Okay. Next question. So this, we're trying to get closer to your experience, and I can share a little bit about my experience. So when I was a student, I often was given in-school detention or suspension for being late. And so there were times in elementary school I missed out on recess and lunch, and then I had to do after-school detention when I got older, and it prevented me from doing sports in middle school, which I was not happy about. So this next question is related to discipline, but also as a Black student. How would you describe the discipline of Black students at your school?
Way harsher because just because we're color at Dermot major, because our vice principal is way more strict, but a little easy as long as it's not like a big like suspension or anything like that, like a big like something like a fight or something. But if it was a fight, then you would get more like suspensions.
So in your perspective, you think the Black students get harsher punishment? Anyone else, Commissioner? Okay. Next question. So this has to go with the school culture at your school. Do you feel like you belong at your school? In what ways are you a part of the school? What does the culture, or sorry, how does the culture of the school impact you? Mason?
I feel like I belong because I see different types of people walking around the school, such different colors, and I see, in my head, I feel like I belong.
Diversity helps you feel like you belong. That's great. Anyone else? No?
I would say I feel like I belong, yeah, for the most part. How am I part of my school? I'm part of the tennis team, the JV tennis team, which is like really, it's a really good supportive environment this year. Last year I was part of BSU, Black Student Union, and QSA, Queer Student Alliance. And I feel like it's good to have those clubs to go to. But I think the environment of the school can be like a little bit competitive sometimes, which is sometimes not the greatest because I'm a pretty anxious person, so that can be difficult. But I think for the most part, it's like a pretty supportive environment. That's good to hear.
Hi, Mama Chris. Welcome.
Hi.
Okay, anyone else want to answer that question? Sweet. Now we're on to our last question. If you were principal at your school, what would you do to help students like you? How would you ensure Black students thrive at your school? Mason.
I would like try to help them with math, like try to like show them easier ways to do it so they can get it better.
I think that's a great idea. Tyler?
For me, I would say, I would just change how I treat them. Because at Lopez, it's like, it's a certain amount of us, but like, we get it the worst, like, we get everything the worst. I feel like I would just make it, like, try to be there for them more and like, make like more festivals and things like that for them to make them feel a part as one.
I like that idea of the festivals as well. This is your chance to say what you would want, what you would change, what you would do. It's okay. But think of it, right? Like, you as a student, you had to say, so, this today, this is just a commentary as a parent.
We are coming right back in 10 seconds.
thank you so much for being vulnerable and opening up and sharing with us today. And is there anything else you want to say or share?
This is just a commentary as a parent. My daughter has had 2 Black principals, like in her education, which is unusual, right? So in kindergarten, early elementary school, right, Dr. Rucker, and then your principal now is a Black principal. And I wonder if you notice anything different, or if that has changed, or like from thinking about like the beginning of schooling and then the end of schooling when you had Black principals, but then in between you didn't.
As for my principal now, it's like only been a couple of months, so I haven't really noticed that many differences. But I do remember, like in early elementary school, Dr. Rucker, like she was like always looking out for us and stuff. And I don't know, I don't remember really having like a connection to any of my other principals after that. So I guess that is pretty good.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for that question. That's a good one.
How many have you seen? How many have you seen as Black teachers? How many have you seen? There's a T-shirt that I was blessed with, and it says every child deserves to have a Black teacher. So I asked that question because, you know, parents trusting schools to educate your children. And there's some controversial topics that have been coming up, and it's like who. So I guess the question would be for students is what's on your wish list? What do you want to see about? What do you want to see at your schools? Like you've been asked about the wellness centers, you've been asked about the counselors, the teachers. What is it that you want? Like, do you feel like your voice is heard? Student, what do you want at your school?
Hang on.
We don't have as much Black teachers as white teachers. All my teachers that I have, first, second, all of my periods are just white teachers.
Hi, everyone. As you can see, we're having some technical difficulties. So thank you, Kiyoshi, for troubleshooting everything in real time. And I see Crystal Calhoun has joined. So thank you for joining, Crystal. That we're going to just continue with the streaming piece. So we'll wait patiently as Kiyoshi brings back the video for us to view. In the meantime, you might notice we went through all the questions that I posed, and now in the video we'll be hearing questions that other educators have posed, as well as some of the guardians and parents that are in the space. And then we'll hear from 3 more students who come in to the interview towards the end. So Kiyoshi let me know he had to restart his computer. That's why he dropped off. I'm just gonna play some music in the meantime until he gets back in.
Can I get share screen capabilities again?
Yes.
Do you feel like your voice is heard as a Black student? What do you want at your school?
TEYA.
We don't have as much black teachers as white teachers. All my teachers that I have, first, second, all of my periods are just white teachers. I don't really get as much. In my old school, I had one black teacher and a white counselor. I enjoyed that because my teacher was not as harsh as every other teacher, but it was still a little harsh, not as harsh.
That makes you feel better if you see like a black teacher there. You feel more connected, you know, like they care for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's, what about we ask the teachers and the psychologists and all of that? So how do you guys feel as teachers and being black teachers there to support the kids?
Well, as the only Black teacher at Jayham's school,
That's my go-to.
I am his case management. So I work with mom and his teachers. And that's helpful. And I try to be in contact with all students of color, but particularly our Black. So that way I'm someone that they can come to. The important thing at our school because you have Miss Sink. So she is the other trusted adult that you have, and as a member of TEYA, Miss Sink is like the ally lot of students can go to her, they can go to me. I do feel like I am working a lot more than the other teachers to support students. And I wish there were more Black teachers at our school too. We used to have a Black mental health therapist, and now we don't. And yeah, so it's tough on the kids mostly. And when I was a student, I never had a Black teacher, so I wish as LaToya said, every student deserves a Black teacher, particularly our Black students.
So how do you feel, Ms. Crystal?
I think for the Black students, they're surprised when they have a Black teacher, because for a lot of them it's their first time ever. And I teach 7th grade, so it's their first time ever. There's an automatic connection, I would say. And of course, I have to say, you want to say you treat all your students equally, but I definitely look out for my Black students in a different way, right?
Like more of a nurturing.
Even just looking out, right? Like checking in a little bit more. Sometimes I'm harder on them because I expect, I have to be hard on them because I know I care about them, right? So yeah, there's definitely a little bit more attention. And it's not just Black students. There are just certain students you bond with that you give more attention to in general, right? But yeah, my Black students tend to be of that group, right? That I kind of do a little bit more.
Okay, so Dr. Ray.
I feel like I don't think he's ever had a Black teacher, have you? Yeah, so being that a parent, I have to be involved. Just recently, I had to be involved, and I had a teacher say, well, I didn't think you would care. And I'm like, well, why would I care? And I think they expect that a lot of times with students of color and him being only number 2 in his class because of a Black student. If he got a certain grade on a test, I wouldn't care. Like, why do I expect you to care? Well, I'm here and I care. I'm not going to change it. You know, and now I see things are graded differently, but I have to go. And why did I have to go into the class and actually physically meet you so that you grade my son correctly? And I'm looking at the same test you looked at. And he's coming in after school every day. Why is he being graded so low when he's putting in the time and the work? So now his grades are amazing in his class. And I'm like, but he's doing nothing different besides her meeting me and her thinking, oh, I don't think you cared. I give so many students this grade and no one emailed me, no other parent. Okay. You know, so
What's your point?
what's your point? And I just feel like as a mother of a Black student, I'm forced to be involved. I have to make sure I meet every single teacher so that they know that I'm involved, so that they know I care. Instead of just assuming, the student, their parent cares. I have to prove myself. So that's my experience. I'm just constantly at school.
You're constantly over there, but I'll tell you guys something. What did you say?
He said every day, all day, every day.
I really like him, but.
And I would like to say thank you for the support and what you're saying, Mama Chris, about we need someone to advocate for our Black students. And as you as a parent, right, and you two as parents, me as a teacher, sometimes I feel like I have to be the advocate and the special education teacher, right? And then even when the student technically is my student and it's a Black student and I see what's going on, why are you doing this? Why are you saying these things, right? If something's happening with an administrator or another teacher or something's happening between 2 students, I'm often having to advocate, and it does take a lot out of, I think, Black parents, Black teachers, and so my question is for you students, do you feel like
the coalition, tomorrow's the leader. So what we do is, we're standing in there for those kids of color, special needs, education, queer kids, and all of that. But the main thing we're there is for the black kids, and I let them know that. And they said, well, all you do is speak up for the black kids. I'm like, your point is, you know, here, especially here in Silicon Valley, there's not that many people speaking up for you black kids. And they need somebody knowing, you know, we care, we love you, we want you to have a good education. We don't care what the race of society is doing. Don't look at that. Don't look at that. This is what we want you to look at. Good education, successful career and all of that. So that's what we're focused on. And I'm really happy to do that. One of my good friends got me all involved in that because I was already involved with grandkids and all of that. But now I'm really involved and I'm really, really happy. It's really rewarding. Really.
Anyone else want to add? Do you feel like you have someone who advocates on your behalf at school? In addition, of course, to your parents.
You got somebody over there? I know it's new to you, this new school and everything. So would you feel like you got some black teachers over there, counselors at your school?
I don't really, I didn't see, well, ever since I like got to this school, I never seen what there.
And this is a,
You got local.
yeah, so they said they want more, that district, you know, that district, oh, we want more black students, more black teachers, and want more black counselors. I'm like, well, they asking us one time, like, you know, where do we go? I'm like, you're educators, don't you know where to go? Like, I'm not in the education system, I'm just trying to help, you know, but they need to make a more effort to really hire black teachers and counselors and stuff like that. If they really want our kids to be successful, if you really want that. And if they don't, then Grandma Chris will be there for everybody.
Thank you. Jayhan, did you want to say something?
That, for me, that would be Miss Hall.
Okay. Yes, we like this hall, we call it T Hall.
Yes. Do you want to share? Do you feel like you have someone at school who can advocate on your behalf?
Yeah, I think that I have my history teacher this year, who is my old counselor's daughter. She's just always really supportive, and she just looks out for all of us, and is really considerate of like just our mental health and not like placing anything above that. And my old math teacher as well, who's my one black teacher last year, really supportive.
So what's that teacher's name?
Miss Fitz.
Okay, I know Miss Fitz. Nice lady.
Okay, so Miss Latoya Brown has a follow-up question. So I know that you mentioned BSU at your school. So for everyone, is there a BSU or a club that addresses the needs of black students at your school? If yes, do you feel comfortable with the members in that club? And so at Miss Brown's former school, kids would only come to the club for free food for BSU meetings. So again, the question is, do you have a BSU or a club that addresses the needs of black students? If yes, do you feel comfortable with the members in that club?
Our kids who did, run down the school, our staff
BSCS, but he did the wrestling club and swimming, but it was on the BSC. I'm not sure if they. Yeah, we can ask. It might be a small little thing.
I'd be glad to call over there.
There's not that many black students there. I think there's probably like 10 in my class, which is like more than before. I think there's like 3 in my sister's class. But it's good to go there. But also I think that they don't like give the clubs like a lot of time to like plan, and so we don't do that much there usually. So it's just good to like know the people there, but like we don't actually do that much at the club. But like a lot of the other clubs have like 40 plus members, so it's like easier for them to plan, but we only have like usually 20 people max at our meetings, or probably usually less. So sometimes it's hard to like plan for like events.
Okay. Crystal, at your school, is DSU there?
Yeah, for a few years, like we had a really strong ESU group that I ran with one of the other black teachers. After we came back from the pandemic and we came back from distance learning, I was running the BSU. It kind of like dwindled off, and like I just had less and less participation. So right now, like there's nothing there. What I found like toward the end is that a lot of the students were coming because they wanted to learn and understand about Black culture. So they weren't the Black students that were necessarily coming to BSU meetings for whatever reasons. I think the Black students found their own like social support, and I don't know, just wasn't something that was happening. So right now, like no, like there's not, and I'm there part-time. So, but it's not something, but the reason why we started in the first place is because a group of Black kids came to us and said, we want to learn more about ourselves and about Black culture. And so a lot of times when they're student-driven, like that's the students, it's based on the students' needs, and the students really want and appreciate the support from us. And yeah, like I said, we had the Black Student Union going really strong for those years, and that was a big thing. Or it was mostly a group of girls. Girls tend to be the ones who.
Especially black girls, you know we're gonna.
Yeah. On that note, Inclusivity and Kindness Club at Dartmouth was started by a group of Latina and Black students. And so like, particularly my students came to me a few years ago, 2021, and said, you know, there's homophobia, there's body shaming, there's racism, we've gone to administration, they're not doing anything. And that was in November of 2021. And I was like, they're not doing anything? Are you kidding me? And so me and the Sync and the therapists at my school got together with the students, and the district brought in our equity, anti-racist, anti-bias consultant to work with the kids. That was really, really helpful. And since then, the club has moved on towards building cultural awareness and like doing kind types of on campus, promoting different cultures throughout the year. And you're right, it kind of depends on the student needs. So usually I ask the kids when they come to the meeting, what do you guys want to do this month? Like, what would you like to promote? What should we do to include everybody? And how can we bring awareness to everyone about different cultures? So sometimes it's promoting like a religious celebration or a cultural celebration, or doing some type of kindness card activity at lunch, or a wellness activity, just so kids can have something to do during lunch, and bring kids in to meet each other, to be more inclusive. So it's warped into different things from 2021 to now, but I think it always starts with like the most pressing need, and the students who have those trusted adults that they can go to say like, this is something, I need your help, can you help me? And then you kind of just have to say, yes, okay, let's do it, and work with them. And then when they, when they feel like they've done or you've achieved what they wanted you to do, or you've done together what you set out to do. And for me, on middle school, they go on to high school, and the hope is that they continue to make change in their other school settings. And my hope is that I continue to be that trusted adult that kids can come to ask for help and support.
So what about like, this big deal in America now with the whole critical race theory and all of that? Are you teaching ethnic studies or anything? And, the kids are asking about, because I guess my point is like, when they show our ancestors, all they show is slaves. They don't show no positive, other national, people that go back and, they honor their ancestors and all of that, but it's like we're just making them feel ashamed of, our ancestors. They wasn't slaves, they were enslaved. We're free people. And our kids need to see that, that positive side rather than seeing what the media and everything shows us. So, are we looking at that? Are they going to be teaching more positive, Black history? Do
Do you want to say something?
You want to answer?
Oh yeah, you can say something.
Okay, so let me come into the shot.
Oh, awesome.
Sorry, I'm late.
Our history teacher here.
Hi, guys. Hello, everybody. I'm Sarah Singh, part of TEYA. I'm also a teacher at Dartmouth Middle School. So I teach world history, and part of world history is Black history, African history. And so I don't teach about slavery in the conventional ways you're speaking of. I teach about Mansa Musa and his great kingdom in Ghana. I teach about other kingdoms that were run by women, and the fabulousness of Africa and the intuitiveness of Africa. We do a whole unit on drumming, and we do a whole unit on music and how Africa has had such an influence on so many different cultures. So I think the California curriculum has it as part of their standards and framework. So I think that's really important. But we don't have a specific class, and we would love for there to be at some point like an elective or something like that students have that space. But I do think even in 8th grade they're doing a much better job when they teach about U.S. history, and they teach about slavery, and I think they're doing a much fairer job, and they're reading really good text, and they're kind of diving into the experience of the people and where they came from, and the histories that we can find. And I think education in general is doing a much better job of finding those primary source documents. So I think we're doing a better job. I think we still have a lot of room to go.
Yeah, so that's really cool. So I'm like a family historian in my family, and I'm always teaching the positive stories. I done track my family back 8 generations, and that's the stuff we talk about. We don't even talk about all of that slavery. We talk about how we overcame, what strong people we are, especially Black women. How we did all of this, and that's what I want the kids to learn. And can't keep saying, why don't the school teach it? Because I'm teaching it. If they're not teaching that Black history in a positive way, then we need to teach it at home. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm really on. And I talk to the grandkids, and I got pictures and documents showing them all this positive side of our ancestry, not just that that negative side and all that, and then I be realistic with them, and I tell them how that slavery stuff and how it affects us now, how society is, you know, how racial it is, and what this really means, and how the whole connection. So that's the stuff I want my grandkids and everybody else's kids to really learn that, so they can be proud of themselves, not to every time, just like most of the stuff they show about Africa, yeah, we're showing everybody looking like this. You know, poverty and all of that. They're not showing all these strong, proud women and men and all of that. So it's the whole thing that we got to turn it around how they portray us for the kids to be proud.
I
You know, for
agree.
the kids to be proud.
I want to comment because it's based on student years ago, but when it came to teaching Black history and then being the only Black student, and then you get to the part where they're slaves, and it's like, I felt embarrassed.
Yeah,
You know,
you
singled out.
feel ashamed.
Ashamed.
Yeah,
And I'm like, everyone's looking at me in here, like, it's all about me, it's not about everyone's history, it's just my history, and so it's being taught, and I'm the only Black student in there, so a lot of times, like, this class of our kids never had a Black teacher, and, you know, and I grew up in a community where it was predominantly white, you know, so I was the only Black student, and then when the history time, it was always embarrassing. It wasn't positive, it was embarrassing.
That was the whole goal too, to make you feel shame, because it could have been turned around more positive already. Okay, because then in America, look at all the Black scholars that we done had, you know, all these famous people, they did this. I told them all they do is talk about slaves, Dr. King, and George Floyd. I like it, we had a whole big old thing before all of this, you know. We had a big life before Dr. King, we had this and we had that. And we need to promote that, especially we need to promote that Black women is the one that built America. And we need to teach them kids that, and we're the ones still controlling America. But we're not looked at in a positive light like that. You know, all they show us is that, you know, that on the drugs, or the welfare and all of that, and that's not fair. You know, because we're the most educated people in America, the Black woman. And we need to be starting to speak up and come together, and then letting everybody else know that, and stop showing our kids that other junk, and let's show them some real history.
Tyler, did you want to say something?
I forgot.
Okay, well, if it comes back, raise your hand. Jayhan.
I'm not gonna comment on that one, on that first part. If you're not gonna teach it at home, why, or at school, then why would you just teach it at home? Because if you're not gonna teach it, then what's the point of having history?
That's a good point.
Yeah, exactly. They need to tell the true history, so they tell the history that doesn't make them look bad. Yeah, so tell the true history and tell my beautiful history. I don't want to hear all of that sad, and, you know, and I'm telling you guys that's something funny here. I love to cook, I'm in the kitchen all the time, but every time I see my picture and I put on an apron and I'm taking pictures in there, it hurts my feelings, because that's how they made all Black women look. We was all looking like Aunt Mama. We all sad, standing in the kitchen like this with that apron on. Like, no, can't do that, can't do that. No, make me look good like I am. You know, don't make me look, you know, look. I want to show some positive stuff.
I appreciate that, and thank you, Ms. Singh, for sharing all the great things that you do.
Family. Don't give me the line. I wouldn't even have a clue how to do nothing like this.
We're just gonna wait until Kiyoshi gets it back on, so.
Exploring cultures classes at our school, so they're trying to include it there, but not many beyond high school, like upper, post-secondary, schooling. However, in K through 12, it is important to learn about who you are, you know, what,
And our beautiful story.
yes, who you are, who the people are that are around us and in the area that we live, how we all benefited from all of our contributions, and what we can do moving forward to continue to, as you say, promote those beautiful stories. Jehan?
It's like someone just wants to bring hate, just ignore it.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
move on.
Great.
But, like, if they just wanna push us, to like push our buttons, just ignore them, walk away, but do something about it, like tell someone, do something. Because we can't just keep getting bullied by white people over and over and over again.
Yes, it's only been 450 years, so we're working on it.
Yeah, well, I appreciate your comment though, because there are some adults who haven't gotten to that mindset yet, right? So thank you, Jehan, for sharing that.
And they do and get, we have such a rich history and all of that, they don't tell that because they don't want to tell the truth that America was built on slave labor. So, and then when that jerk down in Florida said that black people benefited from slavery. So slavery, rape, murder, sex trafficking and all that, he said we benefited from that. And I just want to get to Florida and have a private meeting with him.
Set the record straight.
Oh,
Jehan?
if you just wanna show negative, like, just ignore it. That's, if you just wanna show negative in your class, and they just wanna show hate towards us black people, just ignore it, move on, and just ask for a different class or transfer somewhere else. If they're just gonna show hate over and over, just, again, like, push your button and just make it negative.
Yeah, it can be very triggering.
And show positive, not just negative.
And I love that, but in my family, no matter how much I grew up in that racial stuff with the dogs and Dr. King and all of that, we were never taught to hate. If you walked up, sneak up to my door or my family's door, you never hear us in there talking about hate. Because kids learn love, they're taught hate. Yeah, like, no, I don't teach hate, I don't practice, you know, all that blankety blank, they get this, no. We're looking at, look, come on now, you're a beautiful black kid, let's go, you know, you can do anything you want to and all that kind of stuff.
Does anyone else, oh, go ahead, Anna.
Well, I think on like the, like the point of like, ethnic studies and stuff, I think like at my school, it's like, we don't have any like specific classes, which I think would be really good and like interesting. But like, I feel like when they teach about like Black history and stuff, it's in a very like specific unit way, or like they don't like just integrate it into the curriculum in a way that I think could be in, like a lot of other cultures too. It's just like singled out, and it's like one specific unit or something, and it's like I feel like they could do a better job just weaving it into the curriculum. And I feel like, I don't know, in our English classes, there's we could be reading more relevant books to like just the whole student population. I just feel like there's a lot of room in our like English and history classes to learn a lot of history, but we just, I don't know, we're just like reading Sophocles and stuff. Just like, I don't know. I just feel like
You're just reading what?
Sophocles.
Sophocles.
Huh?
Yeah.
Like old Greek, like literature.
It had nothing to do with 2023.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I feel like there could just be more relevant things that you could just weave into the curriculum in general.
It's relevant to what we're doing now.
Yeah.
I think that's a good point. Thank you for sharing that, Nona, because one of the biggest things for culturally responsive pedagogy is seeing who your students are and reflecting it into the curriculum. So, thank you.
I ain't got a clue about nothing Greek.
Oh, the Greek literature. Yeah,
But then if you
it
look
does not
back,
connect sometimes with kids.
but if you look back and really go into that history, you know there's like the Greek and all of this kind of stuff. You look back in there and you can find all of that. It wasn't there. You know, it wasn't, you know, when we talk about this, we talk about that, and all of these different religions and all of that, you know, going back hundreds and hundreds of years, you know, it was just, you know, and just keep it up.
So I'm a math teacher, right? So there's this theorem in math, like this famous right triangle theorem. Does anybody know this
The
theorem?
Pythagorean theorem.
Okay, so I had to stop calling it the Pythagorean theorem because Pythagoras did not invent the Pythagorean theorem. Like, there were like pyramids in Egypt, right? Like, there were civilizations that used this right triangle theorem before Pythagoras was born. And there's evidence, like, of it being, there's archaeological evidence of it being used, like, at least 1,000 years before he was born. Like, archaeological, like, I think there's some stone, like, something that they found that said, yes, people knew this theorem, right? So Pythagoras went to study, like, with the Egyptians, and he brought back the Pythagorean, or he brought back this theorem, right? And he was looked at as some type of god, the Greeks, because he had all of this knowledge that he brought from somewhere else. And I told this story to my students, and they said, well, why is it called the Pythagorean theorem? And I said, we're not going to call it that, because it's not Buddhist. But there's, so that's an example, and it's, in doing that. So there are teachers make it relevant to our students, right? But at the same time, that is a huge burden on teachers. It's a lot of work because you have your textbook that has your curriculum, and it's simple, like, and it is draining to go in and rewrite the entire curriculum when you're not necessarily supported in doing that. So there are teachers that can do a wonderful job of it, and there are teachers who are really committed to it and who are doing that work, and they're there and they exist. And I have seen them come and go to my school. And then there are teachers who are not, and the ones who are not, it's not necessarily because they don't want to. It is because they, I don't know, they prioritize other things, right? They don't want to be trained in that way. It can be, as a teacher, you have to make decisions, and it can be very draining to stay in this career. Sometimes you have to make decisions about what you're going to put your energy into, I guess.
Yeah, and it takes a lot to, like, as you say, when you know, oh, the history behind this is from, you know, a Eurocentric narrative, and I want to change the way that I teach this in my class. And for someone to have that mindset and to be doing that constantly is exhausting, right? Or to be constantly, like, fact-checking yourself can be exhausting in itself. And then if everyone's doing it though, right? If all teachers are doing it, all administrators and all parents are like, am I really saying the best thing possible? Do I have all the information before I propagate some message that maybe isn't even true, right? So I think we, in order for us, the kids are really good at finding out the information. So I appreciate being called out or being, like, questioned. Like, wait, didn't they say this online? Well, let's talk about that. So it's good to have those conversations and to be asked those tough questions. So on that note, we're about to end. Would any of the students like to say anything else?
Okay, so title.
Thank you for this.
Okay, so come on.
And Jahan, how are
Come
you
on,
feeling?
Jahan.
Pretty good about this. I enjoyed coming. I felt good about this. It was nice to meet all of you guys. And sharing time with everyone. I enjoyed it very much.
Likewise.
Okay, thank you. No.
Yeah, it was good. I think I enjoyed seeing that people who are like in the education system, like are looking out for students and trying to like look at things in a new way and try new things to just for something better. So I think that was good to see.
And I just want to introduce Carly here. She's an 8th grader in Dartmouth. And so we talked a lot about a lot of things. Thank you for coming. And you can just kind of join us maybe in our last question that I asked everyone earlier, which was if you could be principal for a day, what would you change? And how would you ensure that Black students thrive at your school?
That's a hard one.
You can take a minute.
Putting you on the spot.
I can ask you an easier question. What helps you be successful academically in school?
The teachers helping me out, explaining things to me.
Okay, great.
I guess, I feel like starting with things.
Go ahead.
If I was, you can move that way. If I was principal and helping Black students, I would make sure everyone's treated the same because me, I don't like getting treated different just because I'm Black. And it just makes me feel different than other people. So I just make everyone the same and me, nothing different.
And I have one more question for you, Carly. So, what does mental health supports look like at Dartmouth, in your opinion? And do you think there's room for growth? Do you think you would change anything?
I think I would change a few things about the wellness center. You know, like if we're in a really bad space, now there's a rule that you can't go unless they call you in there, or you can only be in there for 10 minutes, and that doesn't help really. You break for 10 minutes and you have to go back, but if you're crying, you're not okay. What are you supposed to do?
You need it at Overfield. I toured their wellness centers a couple of times, Overfield High School and all that. And they have a wellness center in there that's staffed with counselors and all of that. Or maybe you just need to sit there and relax. Maybe you need to deep breathe. Maybe you want to get out your pen and start sketching. It's not to go in there and look at your phone and all of that.
Yeah.
But you go in there and do what makes you happy. And that's what more schools need. At least give you a period and everybody's happy with
I
that.
think a lot of the teachers also don't understand, like they understand mental health, but they also, it's a lot different, I feel like, from when they were in middle school where everyone was mean, and not everyone, but like, random things happen, so you just gotta go.
You get triggered, right?
Yeah,
Things
exactly.
happen and you want
And
to
there's
talk
something-
about it, or you need
Yeah.
a space to decompress. Vocal
Absolutely. That's
about
the
their
best part.
needs, and I think it's
Thank goodness.
important for us to be responsive to that. So I'm not in the wellness center anymore because my schedule got changed. I used to be there one period a day, and now I'm not anymore. So I didn't even know about the changes. That doesn't seem fair.
Okay, I think that's why we started. Be the best advocate I can be for my students. Carly's been one of my students. I want to be an advocate and anybody on campus. So I think that that's you got to be a good ally.
Exactly. And you really want to be there. Yeah, you want to, because if you're just there just to get paid, then please leave.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Nobody needs to be in education if they're not there for the good reasons.
So sorry, I have one more question for you, Carly.
Okay.
I just want to know in terms of consequences at school, how do you feel consequences are given out? And do you think that you being a Black student, do you feel like you're treated differently in that? And what would you change for that specifically in terms of consequences?
I was hoping for this.
Okay,
Okay,
good.
that's good. Okay.
Well, there was a situation that happened, I think, last week, and I was just watching what happened, and someone I was with did all of it, and they, nothing happened to them really. They just got a few snack detentions, but I had snack detention, lunch detention, after school detention, and a call home, and I got grounded and everything. And I feel like she's blonde, blue eyes. Yeah. And it was just, it felt a lot different than what would happen, you know?
And what would you wish had gone differently?
I wish that we would all just get the same punishment instead of just getting singled out. I wasn't doing anything, I was just watching what was happening.
A lot at our school where kids who administrators or teachers think that they're that students of color or Black students are getting harsher consequences, and you know, what would you say to make sure that that doesn't happen anymore if it is happening?
I don't even know. Like, I don't think it's only like the Black people too. It's also like Hispanics. Like, they're all getting targeted, and I feel like, to me, it's kind of obvious. Like, and I don't know how to change it. Like, I don't know what I would do to change it because there's not much to do.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about consequences. So what does consequences look like at your school? How do you feel about those consequences, and would you change anything?
Well, for people, like, they've done some bad stuff over there, and usually they just get in trouble, but they don't really get suspended for it. They only let them go with a warning, but what they did was, like, really bad. And they should probably get suspended for it.
So can you give me an example, and I can give you an example too. Like, I remember a student, and this is particular to my school and my experience. So a student wrote the N-word in class, and like I had to take them to the assistant principal and say, like, this student just did this in my class. Like, can we talk about this? And I was really sad and upset, and I told the kid. And the principal talked with the parent, and we figured out consequences for them, and they got suspended from the classroom for a few days, and then they had like kind of like an anti-racist project they had to do, and then they eventually had to talk to the therapist, and then they had to apologize to me in the class. So that was helpful.
But then I'm noticing that it's happening with kids who aren't even my students, right? They're saying the N-word, or they're discriminating against other kids based on other things, and there's a lot of bullying happening, right? And I feel like not enough is happening, and I want more to happen, but I don't know, because I'm just the teacher. Like, and so in your experience, is there something like that that's similar? And what would you suggest that the school do?
Well, I think the school should suspend them. Well, it's just a racist word, not the way word to use. So a lot of people at my school use me, and they've said it's teachers, my substitutes, and they haven't gotten in trouble for it. And I just think they should just at least get suspended for it, because they said it directly to a teacher. I don't want to say it, but I saw that with my teacher was pretty mad at them, but they didn't do anything about it. I think it was a substitute. Yeah, it was a substitute. Yeah.
Jordan, what do you think? What do you think should happen? In addition to the suspending or getting in trouble, how can we prevent it from happening again? Is really my question. And in my experience, some students will say, like, you know, that student did something mean, or they said something hateful or racist, like they should get in trouble. Other students will say that about a particular student. And then their parents will be brought in for a conversation. Maybe they'll get suspended from school, but most likely just through class. They won't show up to class for a few days. But then it doesn't stop it, you know? So I think sometimes there are things that we need to do as a school. And in our bigger conversation before, we were talking about, like, what would you like to see? So let's kind of get into that question. If you were principal at your school, what would you do to help students like you? And what would you do to ensure that Black students thrive?
Just make sure that they don't bully like students at all. And, if they do say like racist things or bully people, they won't just go off with them, go off like a suspension, because something like that you shouldn't do at school, or just in general.
What do you think, Jordan?
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yes. If you were principal at your school, what would you do to help students like you? How would you ensure Black students thrive?
Just make sure we're treating them equally.
Okay. All right, so I have one more question for you. So how would you describe, and this is kind of based off of what you're saying, being treated equally, how would you describe discipline at your school? And is there a difference for students of color or Black students?
I don't know about that in my school, but back in middle school, the same district, they treated them way differently. I never got as much help as other people did. classes, and I'd always be laughed at for asking questions. Yeah.
What do you think, Jordan? You want me to repeat the question?
This was
Okay. Okay, what does school discipline look like at your school, and is there a difference between the way that Black students and other students are being disciplined?
I think we're all treated equally by teachers. I don't think I've seen anything bad from teachers at Pioneer.
In terms of discipline? But you had mentioned that sometimes kids are treated differently.
Yeah, other students.
I see, by other students. All right, and then last question, I think, yes, this is the last one actually. In what ways do you feel part of your school?
Just hanging out with friends that I know since elementary, and I like talking to my librarian because she's a really nice person. Yeah.
That's good. See, it sounds like you have a trusted adult at school.
Yeah.
And Jordan, in what ways do you feel like you belong or that you're a part of your school?
Just hanging out with my friends too.
Is there anything you would change about your school?
Some of the teachers are a bit rude. One of my teachers said to go like, this was in my class. They said, I'll say something that'll make you repeat yourself. It was weird, and I just wish those teachers were like that nicer, and also I wish they got more in trouble for that because they never really got in trouble for it.
I'm sorry that happened. That sounds sad. It shouldn't have happened.
So I didn't hear that. What happened?
He said that a teacher had said, I'm going to say something that's going to make you go hang yourself.
No.
Jordan, would you change anything at your school?
I just don't know how to explain.
Okay. Well, you can just say what happened and like what you would think what should have happened differently, maybe. If there's an example you have in mind. Or if you don't want to share, it's okay.
The bullying, when you have more stuff next time.
What was that?
So bullying.
Oh.
Maybe the bathrooms and our stuff getting stolen. Yeah.
So students are stealing things from other students?
Yeah, my stuff got stolen in the locker.
Oh. Yeah. That's unfortunate. So what happened?
One of them broke into my locker and I think they must have snatched it off and took my shoes in there, my shirt, my PE shirt.
This was in the PE locker?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And what did the school do?
School didn't do anything about it.
And what do you wish they had done?
Probably get better locker things because those weren't very good teams, and also they should have probably they should have somebody in there to see what's going on, see if they're taking things from their lockers.
And they didn't try and find out who did it for you? Oh, I'm sorry. And then it sounds like there's a lot of bullying happening too?
Yeah.
So what would you do to change that?
There's really nothing you can do to change bullying, but maybe just like talk to them like why they're bullying and what's the reason.
And get them help if they need it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a good idea. Do you have anything else you'd like to share about your experience in schools? So thank you so much for zooming in with us today to watch the TEYA Centering Black Youth Voices panel. I know that we had a lot of technical difficulties, so we will be providing a follow-up link for everyone to watch, hopefully with better video and sound quality. And whatever we recorded today will be available on our TEYA YouTube page, so I'll send that link out ASAP. But we will definitely follow up with everyone so we can hear and learn more from everyone who shared. Kyoshi had something to share or no?
No, just be on the lookout for that link.
Great. Thank you, Kyoshi. I appreciate your time. Thank you for
Thank
those
you.
who zoomed in, and
Thank
see you
you.
at the TEYA event. Bye.
Yeah, very nice, very informative, okay?
Thank you.
And not to mention how cute those kids were.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Have a great day.
Bye.
Look, I'll see you in a little